Welcome back, everybody, to the Strong Women of God, Strong Women series. I am so thrilled to have one of my best friends on the call, Kelechi. She is, well, one, an incredible woman of God, an incredible friend, but she's also a business analyst. She's the founder of Grace&Face, and she's also a beauty consultant at Kalen Beauty. And she did my whole face for my wedding. That looks gorgeous. Throw a picture up in there so you guys can see. How are you, girl?
I'm good. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And I'm so proud of you, my dear.
Yay! You look good. You're like glowing. The hair looks good. You're just like bright and all of it. I love it.
Thank you. Just for today.
No reason to like actually dress up. Love it.
Yeah.
So, Kay, we've known each other for like 5 years.
5 years. Mm-hmm.
We met at the very beginning of like my time at Hillsong, like
Yeah.
maybe like month one, couple of days in, I don't even know, but very early on. And I tell the story, and you hate this story, but I was not sure if Kelechi liked me. I had no idea because you would never say anything to me. You wouldn't talk, but she would randomly come over and rub my shoulder like that and then walk away. And I'm like, what is going on? What's going on? So I lived in this constant state of limbo about the status of our friendship until one day you just told me, like, what are you talking about? And so then we're friends, and it's great. And I think our friendship has been so unique too, because we led groups together, we've served together, but we've also been through some tough times together, and our friendship has gone through a lot as well, and we're still here. So I'm so thankful to just have you here, girl.
Yeah, absolutely. I just need to add one more thing. Maxine exaggerates the story. She exaggerates the story. I would come and be like, how are you doing? And then just leave. And that was my way of saying, hi, how are you doing?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I took her out for lunch for her birthday. She never remembers this. I took her out for lunch for her birthday. She doesn't remember that. I'm like, how do you think I will just take out somebody? I thought we were friends. Anyway.
Verbal affirmations. I wasn't sure, Amazing. So I love starting off with just learning about people's names, what they mean, do they fit you? So tell me about your name, your full name. Tell me if it fits you, all of that.
My name, for anyone who doesn't know out there, I'm Nigerian. So my name, Kelechi, it means thank God. And I think that it is very befitting for where I am right now. It's almost I'm in a space of gratitude for everything that God has almost brought me out of, I would say, and walked with me through. And it's just, I'm now at this space where I'm thinking, you know what, Lord, you are good, and I give you thanks. And it could also serve to say, like, my life will glorify him. My life will give him thanks. So I think that, yes, it's very befitting.
Love it, love it. I know that a few years ago you gave me a Nigerian name.
I did.
Honorary Nigerian name, because we think that maybe somewhere in my bloodline.
Yeah, you're Igbo.
Yes, somewhere in there. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Remember the name?
Oluchi.
Oluchi.
Yeah.
Just want to call me that. I may forget again, but that's the name. Awesome, cool. So, hey, why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey with God and what that's kind of been like for you?
Listen, my journey has been one of those where, like, I felt like God just literally like threw me in. And I grew up in a Christian home. I've known of God since I was little. I've had that foundation. I went to a Christian boarding school, all of that. But I would say that I finally knew him, I think starting 2016, where I came to a point where I looked around me and it just seemed like I had come to the end of me. It just seemed like everything that I had chosen, everything that I had found myself in was not serving me. In fact, it was bleak. I was in a very bleak place. I had come to a place where I was just like, okay, you know what, Lord, I'm tired of trying to figure out this thing out. I'm tired of trying to figure out life on my own terms. I'm tired of doing things on my own. I need to know what you want from me. I'm coming all the way in. I'm surrendering it all to you. I'm jumping all in. And I always liken that experience to Peter being in a boat, right? And seeing Jesus, and Jesus saying, come out. And he decided to leave the safety of his boat and start to walk to Jesus on water. He had he had never seen it done before. It was impossible. It was crazy. He could have drowned. But Jesus said, come out. And he said, okay, Jesus. And that is what my journey with God has been. It's been this space of him asking me to do the most impossible thing and me saying yes in obedience, not knowing what he was talking about, not understanding what he was asking of me. Because I always say this and I always joke around with this. If I understood what was going to be required of me when he asked me, I would have told him no. Sir, no, I'm good. Not interested. No. If I knew that it would be painful, if I knew that there would be so much, dying, I don't know that I would have very, excitedly jumped at what he was offering and what he was asking me to do. But in the process, I have learned that my yes carries so much weight. And that's what my journey has been. It's been constantly, every day, saying yes to him, constantly, every day, knowing that my every yes is building on something that's much bigger than me. Yeah. It's knowing that God is writing a story that even I don't even necessarily have a frame of reference for while I'm walking it out. It's trusting that he has my best interest at heart. So it's been tears, it's been despair, it's been depression, it's been pain. But in all of that, it's also then in experiencing Jesus even more tangibly. Because how can you experience Jesus if there isn't a need to go to him and to hold on to him? How can you know what he's saying if you don't need to depend on his every word? And that's where I found myself in saying yes to him and obeying him and following him in what has been completely, very stretching to my faith. I have experienced him deeper. I've learned to hear him deeper. I've learned to move with him more intimately. I've learned to see him. Some of the mindsets that I've had about me, about the world, have fallen off and are still falling off. Understanding purpose, understanding who I am, understanding the lane that he has me in, understanding what he wants for me, understanding his desire for different aspects of my life, understanding just what he says that I am and what he has planned for me, and seeing it. So it's one thing to see it, it's another thing to get there. And I mean, the getting there process, and some days are harder than others. But I always say this, I've come to recognize for me that success, when you have access to the Holy Spirit, you have success. Because with the Holy Spirit, you have access into any room. You have access into anything. Because once you're able to hear God's voice, once you're able to hear his leading, nothing else matters, because he can lead you right. And even if you're going wrong, he can lead you back on. And I think that's been my greatest, that's been the greatest thing that I've gained in saying yes to, okay, God, I surrender it completely to you. Yeah. Everything, I surrender it completely to you. And understanding that that if I want to Jesus to be revealed in me, if I want people to see Jesus revealed in me, I have to also go through some of the things that he went through. He says for us to partake of that same glory, we have to suffer like he did. And we have to think like Jesus's time on this earth did not start when he resurrected and was revealed as glorious, right? It started on his way to death. It started on his way to death, and he was walking there And he was choosing to get rid of his flesh, die in the most shameful, in a way that was not befitting for him, for people who were not deserving, for people who he didn't know yet. Well, he knew, but people that were not yet conceived of. Only for us all to experience deliverance, to experience salvation, and to experience resurrection. And I was thinking about it the other day, and I thought, you know what? My life, my journey, this journey has been patterned in the same way. In the sense that for Jesus to be revealed in me, I have to die. And this journey has been killing me. It has killed my flesh in ways that I wouldn't ascribe to me. I wouldn't be like, this is like, why? The shame, humiliation, the embarrassment, the pain. But if it's my Father's will, then so be it. So that people who I may not know, or people who are less than deserving, will experience deliverance. No names. Will experience deliverance, you know, and see Jesus and receive salvation, and then move from a space of death to life. So and if we call ourselves Christians, Christians who are surrendered, not just by label, Christians who are surrendered to God, our lives will be patterned in the same way in different spheres, in different times. You know, so it's just, it's knowing that, seeing it, understanding it, and then being okay with it.
So good. I forgot to mention that Kelechi is also like a preacher. So
no, not
with the word in this. I forgot that in your title. So good. I love that. And you kind of mentioned a lot of different themes, but if you were going to wrap it up and summarize, like, what was one word that would describe your walk overall?
Strength. Strength. You know, I've mentioned how, like, I've just found myself in spaces where I didn't think like I could go any further. And every time I thought, Lord, no, I can't do this one. This one is too much. This one I didn't see. This one, there's no way that I can. He shows up in his capacity, and somehow his capacity then becomes mine. And so that has been my experience with him, it's that exchange of weakness for strength. You know, when he says in his word that his strength is made perfect in our weaknesses. It's seeing that and experiencing that firsthand. Because I've had many moments laying on the floor being like, Lord, I can't. I'm tapping out now. I can't move forward. And then here I am, moving forward, still. You know what I mean? So strength would be that word for me for sure. He has absolutely showed out in that area for me.
How do you remain, I don't know if positive is the right word, because it's not necessarily like, oh, yeah, everything's great.
Yeah.
But how do you move forward going through some of these really tough experiences that you've had? What is it in you that is kind of driving you forward to kind of say, yeah, I got to keep going?
I think for me, first of all, one, understanding the finality of God's word, right? So one, understanding that when God spoke some of the things that he spoke to me, he wasn't asking for my opinion. He wasn't asking for what I thought. He wasn't asking for, it wasn't subject to me or subject to anything around me or subject to any other person. It was simply him saying, this is what I'm going to do. Will you come in or will you not? And so in saying yes to him, because of my desire to always want to honor him and please him, that has always been the pushing factor for me. Because like you said, it's not positive. I haven't been positive all the time. I just haven't. So sometimes it's difficult to be positive, but he doesn't need our positivity for us to continue to obey and for us to continue to move. All he needs is that heart that says, God, you have said this thing. If you have given this word, your word is not changing. It doesn't matter who or what. We are not subject. You are not subject to us. We are subject to you. So if this thing you've said it, then it's already done. It's now up to me to figure it out how to adapt to it. So practically that just looked like for me remaining even in the moments where I'm just like, Lord, I can't, still just coming to him and saying, you know, Father, right now I'm struggling, but help me, help my unbelief, help my fear, help my whatever it is. I'm not seeing this positively. I'm not happy about this. I don't even like it. I might not even like you, but
I'm talking about me actually.
no, not not you. I mean the Lord. I would always say to him, like, Lord, today I don't really like you, but you know, I'm committed to you.
Yeah.
I'm committed to you. I'm committed to doing what you're asking of me. I'm committed to seeing it all the way to the end. And I think there might be like an a bit of my stubborn streak sometimes coming in there. It's just like, just because I want to see this thing,
Yeah.
I have to stick it out. I just have to stick it out. I can't just quit. I can't. So that adds to it as well. But I think just to sum it all up, it's just like knowing that he is nothing that he has said is changeable. So then I just have to just keep going back to him. Just keep going back to him.
Love it. And I can kind of speak to that like firsthand in seeing you walk through this journey, that yes, you're saying all of this, but you're actually doing it, which is something that like is so incredible to watch you. And honestly, like we've had these conversations. I don't always understand. But your resolve in like, this is what God has said. That is something to be admired, like that faith.
Yeah.
And it's a gift from God, honestly. Faith is a gift. And you certainly are walking and taking all of that with you. Incredible. So talk to me a little bit about your mission, right? So like God puts a purpose and a mission and a drive, a calling in all of us, in each of us. The big one is to love God and love others, but then there's individual one. So talk to me a little bit about what God's put on your heart.
Okay. Before I go into that, I wanted to preface it by saying that one of the biggest things that I have learned is that mission and purpose is not confined to position. And I think that that's something that we tend to think. We tend to look at like different positions and we're like, well, you know, what is my purpose? Lord, am I operating in my purpose because I'm working here, I'm doing this, or I'm not doing this and that. And that's one of the things that he started to teach me very early on. Because he was saying purpose is about like what you were created to be used for. And so I always say to people, don't get so stuck in like the semantics of what your purpose is. I think that it's a much easier space to be in, to just be focused on obeying God. Because if you are in him and you're obeying him, the sum total of you outworking like what he's asking you to do, you will find that you have been operating in purpose. So for me, I found that my purpose has to do with taking care of people, whether it be financially, whether it be emotionally, whether it be spiritually, just taking care of the people that he places in my hands to take care of, encouraging, covering, praying for, providing solutions for, whatever it may be. It's being all of that in whatever sphere I'm in, because I'm always looking to run away from the position I'm in. And he's like, no, sit down there, sit down where I have you, and just be who I'm asking you to be. And I've been learning that because I can sometimes struggle with this, like doing, because I'm not inherently a doer. But he said to me, I want you to understand that you don't judge the lane that you're in. Don't judge your lane. Don't allow Martha to guilt you out of being a Mary when I have placed you in that position right now. I have you as Mary, and it could change in different seasons, but you are Mary right now. Don't judge that lane. Follow me. If you are with me, and if you're listening to me, and if you're following the things that I'm saying and asking of you to do, you will find that you are, first of all, purpose is being worked out in you. You are learning yourself, and then you are more apt to do what you are supposed to be doing, following him and not following your own agenda. Right? And a story that always like comes to me, and he always uses as a blueprint for speaking to me, is Joseph. Joseph's purpose wasn't to rule. that was simply just the position that he was going to effect the most change. But his purpose was to save, was to go forth and act as a deliverer, so that the people would, experience salvation, and to provide solutions where he was. So even in Potiphar's house, Joseph was a solution bringer. In the prison, he was a solution bringer. In the palace, he was a solution bringer, right? And so it's one of those things that I always have to look back on. It's like, you are exactly where you need to be. Just sit with God and allow him to unfold what that looks like for you, and just follow him, stay in your lane. So yeah, I would say my purpose and mission is to just take care of people in whatever capacity the Lord wants me to.
Yeah. So talk about some of those practical ways that you've been able to outwork that purpose, right? So what are some of the projects that you are working on?
Okay. So like Max mentioned earlier, I have a YouTube channel. It's called Grace&Face. I have a vision that it would be, much bigger than that, and there will be all this stuff under that. But right now, it's currently just me sharing whatever the Lord puts on my heart to share. Today, I just posted a video, and it was me praying, just whatever it is that he asks of me to share, and that's my way of taking care of whoever it is that he sends to that space, for them to come receive, whether it be a word that he gives me or prayers, whatever it is, I do it there. Something that I'm just starting recently is, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a charity, but it's like a fund. I'm starting a fund in Nigeria, and currently I'm the sole benefactor, because it's just me. But I'm working with my dad, and he will serve as a proxy for me. And what I intend to do is just to pay in money, because right now there are people who are affected even more than we are in the United States, in countries, third world countries like mine, who don't have access to the same type of things that I have access to. So what I plan to do is to just put in money into that fund, and then have my dad kind of vet out families who would need help, and be able to position myself to be of some kind of help. It doesn't matter how little. It's the step-by-steps. This is my little step. And last week I just felt like this is something I needed to do. And so I reached out to my dad, and he kind of ran with it. We're coming up with a logo. That's something coming up. I'm writing a book.
Hey.
I'm writing a book. I'm still trying to figure out the name. I haven't completely concluded on that, but it's almost done. But again, it's still sharing the things that God has shared with me, the revelations, the solutions, the things that he has shared with me. It's sharing that for people who will need it, people who will possibly be in the same type of situations that I have found myself in, needing hope, needing like somebody to just show me what to do, tell me what to do. How do I maneuver this situation that I don't have a frame of reference for? How do I understand it without really having a lot of resources? It's wanting to be a resource in that sense. So I have that. And then I'm a makeup artist.
Yes, she is.
I'm a makeup artist. And I have a page on Instagram, Caitlin Beauty, where I post my work. So I'm creative. I love to do makeup. But again, there's that element of his one strategy with that to me is do makeup, share Jesus. Do makeup, share Jesus. Don't worry about the audience. Don't worry about what comes. He will take care of it. Just do makeup and share Jesus. And so that's what I do when I post. I take that opportunity to also share about, Jesus. That's another outlet of feeding people with what I have in my hands.
Love that.
So yeah.
So great. And I think you said, you dropped so many like golden nuggets around, but I think that it's so important that for some of us, we get stuck sometimes, right? And almost crippled by what the next step is. And I think constantly the question always is what is in your hand right now?
Yeah.
You have to think about, 100 steps down. I know for me, that's where I kind of get stuck sometimes when I'm working on stuff where I get an idea. I'm like, well, what's it going to look like?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you just need to take the first step. How about you open a book and just learn about it first? How about you talk to somebody first? How about you just take that initial first step? Because again, what God is looking for is our yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's dropped something in our heart. He is going to work out all of those other details. So I love everything that you said, of course. And I highly recommend that you check out the Grace&Face YouTube channel. We'll put a link in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I just know from having spent so many years with Kay in my Connect group back then, like every time that she opens her mouth, this is what comes out. So it's something you definitely want to go and look for if you're needing conviction. And you want to grow, you're in a space to grow, go ahead and subscribe to that channel. So we'll drop it down there. Awesome. So tell me, I guess, talk to me a little bit about what you're reading, what you're listening to, any podcasts, anything that you think might be really good for our viewers to know about.
Okay, well, I mean, not everything I'm watching is Christian right now. So
I was talking to fiance with someone else the other day.
I'm watching the New Amsterdam and the Prodigal Son. They actually both the seasons are over, but they're pretty good. I don't tend to watch like the shows that everybody is hype about. I don't get into them. What am I reading? I'm reading for women only. It's like a Christian marriage book, but it's like it's basically speaking of the perspective of men, but addressing it to women.
Got it.
Right. So I'm learning. I'm in that space. I felt like the Holy Spirit was like, you need to start preparing. So I'm preparing. Yeah, I'm just.
And she's watching Strong Women of God.
Like things that you don't already know, like new things.
Love it. Awesome. So, hey, we're gonna wrap up in just a moment. But is there anything else that's on your heart that you would want to share as like closing thoughts?
I think that for me, the biggest theme of my week is just that whole idea of staying in your lane, knowing your lane and staying in it. Because I can tend to be somebody who judges what I'm doing based on other people's lane and then other people's perception of what my lane looks like. And so then I take that on, and that can cripple me. Because then I'm looking and I'm like, I'm undermining what I'm doing or what I'm not doing based on God's instruction. But then I'm undermining it because of how people are perceiving it or because of how I'm looking at other people's lane. And an illustration that he gave me yesterday was like, even with last week when I posted what I posted about adding a segment to, Grace&Face, he said to me, he checked me and he said, I didn't ask you to post. I said, what you mean? But you gave me the idea, right? He said, yes, I gave you the idea. But he said, I wanted you to birth the baby, but you don't rush the process. You don't rush the baby to become something. I just gave it to you so that we can dream together, so we can plan it together. I didn't ask you to go and ask people for anything. And I said, okay, so Lord, what I'm not understanding. You're saying that it's time for me to step into what you need me to step into, but now you're saying you didn't ask me to. What am I doing? And he said he likened it to like a play happening, right? And you have a director and you have an actor. And he says, yes, the play is happening. The play is going on. It's time for the play. Yes, the director is asking you to put on your clothes and stand behind the stage, but he hasn't given you the cue to get on stage yet. And if you get on at the wrong time, you will mess up the story. So yes, it is time. Yes, the play is going on, but you have to wait for the director's cue. So that I think is my biggest takeaway, and it's something that I want to share, is that even when we want to go forward in what we know that we're supposed to be going forward into, there is value in listening for the director's cue. Because if we step out in even a fraction of the wrong timing, we can mess up the story that is unfolding right there and there. And that's, that's
Love it.
the lesson.
So much. So good. So good. Well,
Thank you.
I just want to thank you for just hopping on and sharing that beautiful brain of yours and all the wisdom that you have. We will be back next week, so tune in. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, feel free to do that right now. Strong Women of God on YouTube. We love you. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.